All right, our last shape is a square, and a square has all the properties of a rectangle, a rhombus, and a parallelogram. Okay. All the properties that those three shapes, figures have, a square has as well. Okay. So I wanted to quickly talk about the front page of your notes and really how to read that chart that we just made. Okay. So if you are reading up, in the upwards direction, okay, such as from rhombus to parallelogram, this is always true. Okay, always true, meaning a rhombus is always a parallelogram, a square is always a rectangle, a square is always a rhombus. Okay, if you're reading down, meaning going from trapezoid to isosceles trapezoid or parallelogram to rhombus, okay, reading down is only sometimes true. Okay, sometimes a trapezoid is an isosceles trapezoid, sometimes a rectangle is a square, sometimes a quadrilateral is a kite, okay, but not always. Then if you're reading up and then down, this is never true. Okay. So let's look at some examples on the next slide. It could be talking about something like a rectangle and going up to parallelogram and then going back down to rhombus. Okay. So we'll give some examples on the next slide. So here, these statements are on the back of your notes page, right under all your definitions. So I want you to pause this and go through them and see if you can answer them on your own, and then we can go through them together. So please pause it now and go through those together. Or sorry, on your own. Okay, so if you have unpaused the video, you're back and you attempted all of these on your own. So let's go through and answer these together. Let's answer true or false, and if false, we need to change the statement so that it's true, if we can. So every rectangle is a parallelogram. Okay, well, if we look at our quadrilateral notes, we are reading up. Our rectangle is a parallelogram, and this is always going to be true. So we mark this as true. Remember, reading up is always true. Okay, if a quadrilateral is a square, then it is a rectangle. Okay, looking at quadrilaterals, if it's a square, okay, reading up to it's a rectangle. Again, if you're reading up, it is always true. Okay. Number 3 says all rhombuses are squares. Okay, so here we're reading down. When we're reading our list or our chart down, it's only sometimes true. Okay, so this would be false if it says all rhombuses are squares. The way that we could make this a true statement is by saying some rhombuses are squares. Okay, number 4, every rhombus is a parallelogram. Again, reading up, so this is true. Okay, all rectangles are squares. Again, reading down, okay, this is only sometimes true. So this will be false until we change it to some rectangles are squares. Okay, and then filling in these blanks for 6 and 7. Every rhombus is also a parallelogram. Parallelogram. And a quadrilateral. Okay, every rhombus is a parallelogram and a quadrilateral. all kites are also quadrilaterals. Because again, reading that chart up, that's the only statement that we can make about kites. So you have finished the notes. You've made it to classwork and homework time. So go up and grab a copy of the classwork and the homework and work quietly on those until the end of the period.